Hello, my name is Christopher Rondeau, and I'm a writer here at Major Spoilers Entertainment. I am starting my first Indiegogo campaign to support my business, Scald's Tale Entertainment. And this campaign is to sell a short book that subverts expectations. Instead of humans, elves, dwarves in charge of the higher civilizations, we instead see them as these roaming tribes, and orcs, kenku, tabaxi, lizard folks, kobolds, goblins come up as your leading superpowers among the world. What does it mean when a kenku who doesn't have the natural ability to communicate is suddenly one of the most powerful figures in the world, and how do their civilizations go? Tabaxi generally are carnivores. How do their civilizations operate? We get to explore these ideas in this Age of Strife sourcebook. This project allows me to continue my own studies of collaborative storytelling. I am a strong proponent of collaborative storytelling, and I believe it's the new media for the future, especially considering shows like Critical Hit have such a lasting impact. If this is something you're interested in, go ahead and find more information at scaldstale.com or Scald's Tale at YouTube and Twitter. That is Scald's Tale, SKALDSTALE.com. And come check it out and see if this is a product that you think is worth supporting. Thank you for your time.
Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. Oh my gosh. Slipping out on the skin of our teeth.
Yeah. Well, the Naga's teeth were bigger, so I feel like we probably made the right move.
Perhaps, Rodrigo, perhaps.
Perhaps. Let's take a moment to think about a nice sort of restaurant cafe establishment outside of the boardwalk proper. It doesn't call a lot of attention to itself, but if you were to look closely at it, you would see that the windows are shuttered, as is often the case in places like this. They don't want a lot of light coming in. But through the shutters, you can see brief glimpses of movement, and definitely every once in a while, a lot of lights coming out. Just suddenly, maybe some pew pew sounds filtering through. Until if you look towards the back exit, you can see a door fly open and somebody just come running out. Maybe even the door flies open and this person seems like they were pushed out and then starts running. I believe that is Orem that got out first.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and describe Orem?
The Eladrin. Average height, I guess, for the Eladrin. Very young, smooth skin, as of course all Eladrin with perfect smooth skin. Hair flowing behind him as he's sprinting down the alley in his blue robes. Jagged sword on his side, and in slow motion he's turning around to look to make sure everyone else is coming out and following him. Good guys, not bad guys.
Sure. Yes. In fact, a few moments later, the door flies open again, and somebody else runs out. It is, in fact, Sakar. So why don't you go ahead and describe Sakar?
Sure. Sakar is 6'5" and broad of limb, kind of brownish skin, black hair, big halo mess of black hair with gorgeous sideburns, perfect, wonderful sideburns. Carrying two large swords and wearing a sort of a bone-colored asymmetrical armor, and moving very, very fast.
Okay. We'll also say that Sakar's got a couple of big cases strapped to him, because I don't think he ever managed to put him down.
Nope. But that's okay, because Sakar is the kind of guy who runs really fast with really heavy things.
Yeah. Is he like a hat, like palms, like towards the body kind of runner, or is he more like a fists runner?
I would say somewhere between fists and the Grant Gustin running with your upper body running, as seen on CW The Flash.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's the kind of run that you're ready to vault something. So it's that track and field running where you might be coming up to one of those hurdles. What do they call those things when you jump over the hurdles?
The hurdles.
Hurdles.
Okay. Yeah, that thing.
Okay.
Yeah, the hurdles might be turtles, so it'd be a turtle hurdle.
Yeah. All right. Immediately behind him, running out the door, I believe is Randus.
Yep. So yeah, stumbling out the door, looking around and spotting Sakar and running after him. Basically is averagely height individual, stock of wild hair, poking out from begoggled eyes. Probably has like some fairly tattered by now coat and backpack that's less covering what seems to be like a fairly elaborate, what could be taken for a suit of armor, but is mostly just mechanicalness covering his being.
Okay. Any obvious weapons?
Probably holding his crossbow and not too much other than that. Big punchy metal fists. Yeah, I think that'd probably be it.
Okay.
Left fist or right fist? I can never remember.
I'd say both fists now.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I by the way, I view this as a like a very zoomed in from far away, like infinite depth of field kind of shot. So, as Orem is running towards us and more people come out the back, you can see them, and it doesn't look like they're moving that much, and it kind of looks like everybody's right next to each other, even though there's a lot of space between them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah,
But
like a rack
everyone's still in
focus
frame.
maybe or something.
No, not a rack focus. He's talking about infinite depth of field, which means that
that's crazy.
everything is in sharp focus and everything. Imagine a busy highway, and you're shooting down a busy highway, and the cars look like they're stacked on top of one another, when in reality they're 7 cars apart.
Right.
Nice.
And
I forgot to mention that I have red eyes and fangs. I should probably mention
that's
I have red
important.
eyes and fangs. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, when Orem gets close enough to the point of view, then he'll go blurry, but it's going to be a while. So after Randus comes clanking after Sakar, we hear through the Doppler effect, basically as like the door flies open and this Kenku bursts out. He's got his beak has a big bone structure at the top that looks kind of like a hatchet. Black feathers, seems to be freaking out and running, and you can see that he has a kind of bronzy mechanical arm that he's flailing around as he runs. And then the door flies open again, and out comes Ket.
Ket's half elf, little taller than average human height, dark hair, goatee, holding a big jungle stick and black leather armor. Turns around almost immediately to try and grab the next person coming out, making sure everybody's trying to get to ready to block. Excuse me, ready to blast anybody that comes out after her.
Okay. All right. So the door opens again, and out tumbles Little Sparkle.
She's looking more than a little bit worse for wear, having been shot at and stabbed a few times by our enemies. But she is a kenku on the short side, like a little over 5 feet. Bright green and black feathers, a long green beak, blue eyes, wearing leather armor and holding a dagger that has like very clearly Randis's kind of artificey hand work, as does a sash that she's wearing across herself that seems to be worrying right now, considering that she is bloodied, and is tumbling out, but seems to be very well balanced on her fancy new boots that she just picked up.
Yes, all of these guys bust out, and at least for the moment, it doesn't look like anybody else is. I'm guessing that when Orem busts out, he is just running away from the cafe. But is there a direction in particular that you guys are trying to run?
I'll run out to whatever the main crossroad thing is and then do a sliding stop with a spin around to see which direction we're supposed to go.
Okay.
Because that would have to be Ket making that decision.
Yep. There's nearly a very comical pileup as Orem slides to a stop and waits for Ket to catch up.
As Ket catches up, he lets out a whistle to retrieve his bird, and then checks to see if there's any guards outside. Since Orem headed straight for the main thoroughfare, we don't know that that's...
No, you're pretty sure that anybody who was guarding outside has run into the place as soon as they started hearing, explosions.
Okay. Do we have any other base of operations where other members of the Armada would meet? Or is it just this place?
Yeah, just this place. I mean, not here. Not on the boardwalk.
Yeah, right. I didn't know how many people actually came ashore regularly.
Nobody ends up here unless you send them. So, you've got 2 ships coming into the boardwalk.
Yeah, but that's a little time out, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How much time out is that?
Probably a few days.
Okay. That's just peachy.
Longer than we can run, probably.
Yeah, we probably want to head to the docks and make sure they haven't seized your ship. This way.
All right, you guys
Sprinting
running to the docks?
Sprinting
or...
madly to the docks.
Okay.
Knocking little old ladies over as we go.
Leaving a
old
trail
ladies,
of blood and feathers.
Yep, overturning apple carts, and we run into the box of trash that just goes flying off.
Yeah,
Two
guys
guys
walking,
carrying a
leaping
pane of
through a
glass.
pane of glass. The 2 people are walking
window pane. Yeah, definitely. Classic.
The car
classic.
just shoulders through it. It's beautiful.
Running across walls is necessary.
Ooh,
oh wait,
parkour.
can't all do that?
Sure, we can. We just can't stay up there.
Fair.
So yes, you guys run and run and run, and I mean, sprinting across this entire thing. Again, you're not running to the boardwalk proper, but it's not like you raise like 0 attention. It's just you mostly catch the eye of people that are not particularly interested. But we'll gladly say they went that way if interrogated.
Especially the guy whose fruit stand we barreled right through. Just
My cabbages. Yes.
Yeah. You guys arrive at the docks, and there is a kind of the dock master is sitting there at a podium, and seems to be looking for something. Like, kind of like looking under his podium and around and stuff.
Well, maybe take this opportunity to run by while he's distracted.
Well, I mean, you can run by while he's distracted, but definitely 7 people running by he's going to notice.
Oh, fine.
But there's only
7
6
people?
of us. So we can get by with 6 is what you're saying.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So I'm sorry. What I meant was 4 humanoids and 3 birds. That's what I was counting.
Then Sparkle will do her best to like very quickly staunch up her wounds and like hide the fact that she's been stabbed a bunch, and step up and be like, hello, we'd like to head out.
Oh, already?
Yes, our business concluded a little faster than expected.
Well, I'm afraid I can't find my ledger. I swear I was here just a moment ago, but let me see if it's back in the office, and then we'll square up as far as payment.
Oh, all right.
Ket will toss. What's regular payment out for this?
I don't know, maybe 2 gold a day or something.
And we've been here for a day.
You've been here for, yeah, it probably would count as 2 days.
All right. Kettle toss 10 gold up on the thing. Look, we're good. We've been here today.
I suppose. Would you like to wait for your change? I just have to find my books.
Nah. Keep it. You do a good job.
Keep it for yourself.
A gratuity for work well done.
Oh, all right then.
And then we run.
Okay. Yep. You managed to get onto the ship. There does not appear to be anything different about it.
Is the gangplank up? Do we have to do a really cool leap across?
No, the gangplank's up.
Can I do a really cool leap across anyway?
I'm going to
Sure.
slide across the hood of the ship and get in on the other side.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sounds
I'm going to
good.
leap across and grab something in the rigging and then just swing down onto the whatever the plate thing is where you have the wheel that you steer the turny thing.
All right. Yeah, you guys take off on the ship and then leap it over a hill, and it freezes in midair, and it's like, oh, how are those sparkle tones gonna get out of this one?
I honk the horn and it plays the Oblia national anthem.
Yeah. So yes, you guys are able to get onto the ship and get it properly. I don't know. Unmoored. I don't know what the proper term is for. You guys are able to cast off in a hurry and manage to get moving, and it doesn't look like anybody's on your tail. You're pretty sure that the local authorities are, they're like, oh, there's still people here. We have to like secure that, even though you guys got away.
Right. So would the local authorities be some of the people trying to have killed us?
Yes, that Naga was one of the local authorities. So that Naga showed up with a bunch of soldiers. So those guys are the local authorities.
I don't know that they were trying to kill us so much as
arrest us,
subdue us.
Yep. Yeah. So
did say no fighting, right?
Yep, that's right. So it's fair to imagine that that Naga probably has a few bounty hunters and a couple Asmodean priests like tied up by now.
Well, that's good. Hopefully.
Yeah, of course that means that if they're tied up, now they're gonna try and find you guys. But as long as you guys, as long as nothing happens as you're leaving, you should be good to go.
Yep. We got everybody out except for the cameraman on the hill doing the long shot. Oh my god!
That's okay. He's He's union. They've got
They can't mess with
representation.
him.
Yeah, they can't even touch his equipment.
That's true.
So yeah, you guys are able to cast off and start to see the boardwalk begin to sort of fall away as you guys sail outward.
Well, that was fast.
What?
What are we supposed to do now?
Do either of you two, Kettle gesture at Randus and Orem, know if any short range sending or telepathy can work right now?
Don't think so.
Not last we tried.
Oh, I don't want to have to get back on the island.
The island?
Back on the boardwalk.
Oh.
I mean,
What
do you
what do
think
we
they
need to get back on the boardwalk for?
We need to let Elk know we've been made.
Oh.
Nah, Elk's okay.
I mean, do they know who we are? We barely saw them.
Well, the first guys to show up were Asmodean.
Yeah, but they...
They clearly know who we are
Yeah.
already. And the bounty hunters were after a bounty, so they also know who we are.
I think we got relatively away clean, and now that we've got our stock up, we should probably try to act on the intel and take advantage of Asmodeus' absence if that is actually true.
Yeah, we probably ought to hook back up with your fleet.
Yep, and that's how do you pinpoint to spot in the middle of the sea?
Triangulation.
Do we need to reclaim that buoy thing?
I mean, did ya?
Not that I recall.
Does Rando shout, "Wait, we gotta go back for the buoy"?
Can we go back for the buoy?
Or puts the boat in reverse and does a J turn.
Yeah, you are able to basically, instead of like taking off straight out, you're able to basically curve around and skirt the outer skirt the shore to retrieve the buoy. And after you retrieve the buoy and as you're going out, you manage to spot like way off in the distance, a guy like sitting there, like two guys, like one of them is like pointing in a direction, and then another one has like his arms crossed and is listening to him and is like sort of like saying yes to what he's saying, and then of course they're talking to an enormous snake with a human head who like kind of looks in that direction and starts slithering towards the docks.
Mm.
You should get going then.
Hit the turbo boost.
Okay. You guys managed to sail out to what you would estimate is outside of Naga teleport range, at least.
Well, that was exciting.
A little too exciting. I'm gonna mend up a bit.
That sounds like a good idea. Refresh my memory real quick. What were the Asmodeans yelling at Pixo when they came in?
They were asking about you and
Me specifically, or the group?
The group.
And is that a common occurrence?
That is something that happens, but it's very likely that you guys got spotted, and that's why they made an extra special trip. Seeing as how you guys caused some ruckus in the boardwalk.
Could you describe the ruckus?
Winning a golem.
Yeah.
Begging
turning
to
around
fly.
and fighting with the golem.
Yeah.
In a,
Yep.
Begging to
Whatever.
fly
in a
hippogriffs.
dogfight.
Super worth it.
Yeah.
No regrets.
And I think the irony is you're the stealthy one.
I'm also the loud one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also going to take a moment to do some healings.
All right. You guys can take a short rest.
Sweet.
Yay.
Everyone?
What?
Yeah, anyone who wants to can take a short rest. By which I would say everybody should, because if you used any encounter powers, you could get those back, even if you didn't take any damage.
Mm. A short rest sounds lovely.
I'm going to spend 2 healing surges to get back up to full.
Okay.
And I will reset all of my 3 encounters that I used. 2 encounter powers.
Going to spend 2 healing surges to get back up to full.
Okay.
I will spend 3 healing surges.
Ooh.
Okay.
I was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and spend a healing surge. That'd be a loss of 11 hit points. That'll top me off.
Okay.
I'll stand. I'm like 4 down. Or 12 or something. It's
6 left.
I wasted
Alright.
10 hit points, but meh.
Yeah, Pixo is just he's like laying down, but like his head is propped up against the mast, and he's just trying to breathe.
Try not to hyperventilate.
Yeah.
Does his arm need reset?
No, it looks like that's something that he can do. He just needs to like pull on a lever or something, and it like goes back to being an arm.
Okay. Does Randus need any extra healing surges to top off?
I think I only used 1, so yeah. I mean, we got plenty.
Yeah, take 1.
Okay.
I have 15 to start with, and I don't use them that often.
Agreed. I mean, if we have a number that we could have several of your infusion sets, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I think that should do it.
All right.
Okay. And as far as the other ships, it's not that crazy to try and just figure out a way to intercept them, because you know what direction they were coming from.
We'll set a course to intercept.
Okay. Whoever's navigating can give me a nature check to see how well you do it.
Hello. Are you driving or am I driving?
Since I put the boat in the J turn.
All right.
Well, just steering and navigating are 2 different things. So whoever wants to do it.
Probably should be Ket, since he's the only one that would actually know which direction the others are coming from.
You guys were all together before.
We
presumably
teleported to get here, did we not?
Yeah, but you guys all set out from the same place. And since the stars are visible and you know where the boardwalk is, like anybody who was there who has any sailing wherewithal would be able to figure it out.
Let me roll nature.
That said, if you guys whoever wants to do it can do it.
I want to. I just boosted my nature. I want to see if it's good.
What's your nature?
Do it.
Huh?
What's your nature?
31.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Why? What's yours?
20.
I rolled for crap. 38.
38 is still pretty good.
I don't usually get to do the, little sparkle rolling initiative, Randus rolling arcane moments. I like to relish them.
Yeah, it's all good.
They're rare.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you can get at least within eyesight of them, unless they've run into any issues. You know which direction they'll be coming.
271 Mark 6. Set the helm.
Well, that's another place burnt.
Is it? I mean, we did try to break into the treasure chamber, and you were still able to run around and do things for how long? A year?
Yeah, but now the actual enemy knows we were there. And unless the local authorities decide to keep them, he'll know too. He'll know that we're back together.
Well, then we have to act fast.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to hit us with everything he's got.
Well, then we better get this fleet together and plan for the attack. Is there a way for? Let me ask you this, little Sparkle. Our ghost friend, does he have a way of communicating with other people? Like, doesn't he have his children everywhere? Would he have children that are part of the fleets that we could use him as the way to communicate to everyone?
I mean, why don't you ask him yourself? She'll, take Celeste's fetter, say, hey, Celeste.
Salath appears. Hello.
Hello.
Cat, good to see you.
Same, mostly.
We are preparing for an attack and wanted to see if you could help us with any information about Aranko's island.
Most of my information regarding Waypoint is, I suppose, out of date at this stage, although I can't imagine that it has changed much geographically, so I can at least help you there.
Do you have any of your children embedded with Ket's fleet?
If I did, we probably wouldn't have had that very circuitous conversation we had earlier.
True.
No, I'm working to get someone at each of your previous pillar locations so that we can at least communicate with them, but the time fluctuations are already making that difficult. I have another meeting today which will give me a little bit more information about what those locations are looking like right now, but as far as the fleet, no, I don't have anybody there.
Okay. We do understand that Asmodeus has sent much of his forces to the Four Pillars.
That does match some information that I had received from some spotters. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is in fact the case. Certainly in the state that each of those islands was left, an overwhelming military strike would be difficult to repel. Most of the places that had the pillars suffered some amount of losses, except maybe Malgublistan, or not Malgublistan, Snapstab.
Malgublistan is a great name.
They've been there.
We've been there.
They've been to New Malgublistan. That's on the central continent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was looking over my central continent notes like yesterday, so I got the name in the brain.
I wanted to enrich Malgublistan.
So you're considering a direct attack while the armadas are out?
Seems like the best choice.
And our best opportunity for now.
Well, here are some things I can tell you about Waypoint. Waypoint is a massive place. It's meant to be a merchants and travelers oasis in the astral sea. It's easy to find. It's a very bright star. It's an enormous island that has several sort of spiraling arms, all of which are docks. So imagine something like maybe an 8-pointed star with very long points, and then soften that and curl it all sort of in the same direction, and that's more or less what it would look like from the air. Your best bet, unless they've changed it very drastically, would be to attack from the north, as that is where the majority of the merchant docks have traditionally been, which would make it difficult to keep larger attack vessels in those places. From what I understand, Asmodeus has been using Waypoint as much as a trade hub as it has, or as Waypoint has always been, at least before it was confined. merchant companies that have thrown their lot in with Asmodeus, as well as others that have been forced, come in and out of Waypoint all the time. So I don't see why they would have necessarily changed the arrangement.
Okay.
At the center of Waypoint is a truly colossal tower. It is a lighthouse. There is a star at the very top of it that shines its light out for travelers to find. Again, the whole point of Waypoint is that it's easy to travel to and easy to find. But this lighthouse is not like a normal lighthouse. It is huge. Its footprint is miles across and only tapers down a little as it goes up. This was a place that held everything from the offices of merchant companies to food courts to storehouses to ballrooms. Just one enormous centrally located place where business could be conducted. Almost certainly that is not the case anymore. It doesn't take a military genius to realize that this would make for a fantastic fortress. Surely it has been shuttered and is defended and is used either as a depot or barracks or honestly both.
So any thoughts on how we would assault it?
I can tell you how I would assault it.
That's a start.
I would make a large distraction and then try to get in as quietly as possible.
So have the Armada do something obvious while we sneak in on the Regent?
It's going to have to be, in order to draw anyone out of that tower, it's going to have to be a sizable assault. And from what I understand, the Armada might be able to do it. But your goal has to be landfall. The Armada has to basically get to the docks or get to the shore so that standing forces from within the island are forced to move in. Otherwise, this is going to be an absolute uphill battle. Not that I'm saying that it won't be anyway. I don't know exactly how much the Bright Armada has as far as actual combat-ready troops, but you have to assume that whatever fight they're going to be involved with will be a sacrifice and a momentary distraction at best, as the majority of Asmodeus' forces are, even if they're moving in and out, this is their central location. You don't know if they have until you get there or until we get there, unless we find some other way to spy on it, we won't know if there are, an entire platoon of Gelugons just waiting by the docks because they just happen to be there, or any other similar situation. All of Asmodeus's allies also have depots and offices there, so you can expect some of those wraiths from the Obsidian Huntress. You can expect drow ships to be there as well, and any number of drow, anything from politicians to commandos to just happen to be on the island at that particular moment.
Do we know of any gods who are ready to go to war against Asmodeus that could potentially join in on this fight?
That are ready to go to war? No, I don't think so. Asmodeus has been quite thorough. Pretty much every god that you had spoken to already has been capacitated in some way, except, of course, for Malgubliet, if I recall correctly what you've told me, and he seems reticent to involve himself further.
We could try to visit Melora, see if we could get through that storm.
That's assuming that the time distortions are on your side. If they're not,
you're
by the
right.
time you reach Melora, they will already be they will already be undoing your work at the pillars.
That's a very good point.
I say we were told that the first pillar they're approaching is Snap Stab, right?
You were told that they're heading for the pillars, so you
I
don't
just said
know
they're
which
heading
one they're
for
going
the
to get to first.
Snap Stab was the only one that Asmodeus went to personally the first time that we're aware of.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as unfortunate as it is, we probably have to try to make way there now, considering the unpredictability of the temporal distortions. We can't allow the pillars to be assaulted, or all of the work we've done will be undone.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, unless we have like some twin perfect stars that we can use, or unless we have the power of a god. I mean, this is going to be a very tough assault.
I don't believe we have the power of a god, but hopefully we won't need it. Moreover, if we are successful, one might presume that Malgubliet and the others might know about it, hear about it, however gods perceive things.
Mm-hmm. That is a possibility, but not something that you can count on for your initial strike.
Certainly
Assuming
not.
that you manage to, for example, carve out a piece of waypoint to shelter your troops and hunker down, help could potentially come from some other place once they hear that that has happened. But unfortunately, that's really not something that you can count on as a forward advantage. As I've said, I'm trying to position my children in these places so that some communication can happen. But that is still in the works. The fact that already time is moving differently in every place has caused us to miss some meetings already. Nothing quite as drastic as lost weeks or months, but I feel that already days are starting to slip by in some cases.
How do we get the fleet north of Waypoint?
We still have a couple of scout ships out. We'd have to go get them, and then I suppose the easiest way would be to sail, essentially sail north west from where the fleet currently is, so that we could get enough of a line inward to attack from the north. It would, under regular circumstances, probably take at least a couple of weeks of travel, but that doesn't necessarily mean much if time is different everywhere for everyone.
Right.
Well, if you Salath strokes his chin. If you need anything else, don't hesitate to summon me. But for the next few hours, I'm going to be trying to coordinate some movements, so I'll be indisposed.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you. And he disappears.
Who else is he able to be in communication with at this point?
I don't know.
Yeah, presumably he's working to get someone to the places where you guys have taken down a pillar. The rest of you guys know that he had information on almost every other place, except for the ones that are like, this is behind a wall. But, like he knows what's going on in like, I don't know, well, maybe not the thrice anointed prison. Like Writhing Nest, for example, I think he's gotten somebody in. Like Writhing Nest is not like closed necessarily, but it's occupied by Asmodean forces. But he does have people there.
Did he have someone in Shalai?
He did, yeah. That's he's had people in Shalai, Eldralale, but not in Kun Kune because nobody can get in.
Right.
So Shalai is, according to his last report, is basically mostly under Lol's control. The only reason why it's not fully under her control is because it's so big, right? It's like nobody in wartime, it's very hard to maintain control of the entirety of Shalai, but most of the major places of military importance have been taken. And also there's a lot of talk that Arathis is like either dead or dying due to, drow shenanigans in her city.
Yeah.
And Coralon is nowhere to be found.
So, when we confront Asmodeus, do we know that this starfish will work to kill a god?
It sure worked against Thene.
Oh, I wasn't there when that happened. What happened with the Void God?
He cackled maniacally, so presumably he got what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So then are we able then to use the power for ourselves?
What power are you referring to?
Well, he said he only needed the power of one god, channeled through the starfish.
So this thing specifically channels the power to the corpse. I don't think that it is meant to channel the power into, say, whoever stabs him. I don't know that it'll. I think it was. I honestly am not sure how it works, and we've never been able to really figure it out. It works at killing a god. I don't know where the power of a second god death would go.
I'm just thinking we're going to need to be very powerful by the time we hit Waypoint. And
yeah, but I don't think there's any other convenient gods for us to kill and try to steal their power.
True.
Do we even know where any of his allies are?
I mean, presumably in some of their islands, but again, any detours are really dangerous because of the time problems.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to just press forward, have the Armada hit him with everything they've got, try to sneak in on the Regent, and get into the tower and establish a beachhead.
And then hope that that gives other groups a chance to rally and come to our aid, or at least shore up that beachhead so we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, even if we get there, we might even find stuff like, who knows, weapons we can use, or a way to use sending.
Or Coralon locked in a basement.
Sure.
Or
I mean, we can't expect on anything, but I wish we had a better alternative, but time is very much not on our side.
Do not want to be sacrificing people.
I don't either, but this is war.
Sometimes there's no choice.
And you've recruited soldiers.
I took those who came to me.
You can let them know the odds, and if they don't want to move forward, they don't have to. But I have a feeling that everyone who came to you understands the stakes.
We've got a little bit of time to do nothing before we decide on anything.
No, maybe we should get some rest. It's been a long and violent day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure. That sounds like a plan. Maybe something will come to us in our sleep. We'll have a better idea of what we need to do next. We really need to figure out. Does anyone have I know that we were told kind of the general layout of the lighthouse, but do we have any? Are there any plans? Would Pixo maybe know all the plans of the building?
Damn it! Or I'm a cartographer, not an architect.
Oh, sorry. Well, maybe something will come to us in our sleep.
The ship does give us what we need.
Okay, well, I'll take over the boat duties here, while the rest of you get some rest.
Okay.
And as everyone goes off, the lights fade out, and that is where we will end this episode this week. Thank you,
critical
everyone.
hit.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed these adventures. I had a lot of positive comments over the episode from a couple of weeks ago. Everybody really liked that really long, just general discussion of allocation of equipment and other things, so I'm glad that people have enjoyed that one quite a bit. And, man, as this adventure looks like it's coming to a close pretty quick, man, now is a good time to get on board over at patreon.com/major spoilers to not only get access to next week's episode early, but to get access to the next game when it comes out, plus a bunch of other bonus games that are only available over there at patreon.com/major spoilers. So head over there, check it out, see what we got. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at podcast@majorspoilers.com. And until next time, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2020 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.